Today's topic is strategic industrial marketing and marketing information system, that is related to information system. So, learning objectives for today's session, we are going to understand the meaning of industrial marketing or business marketing, then to understand the difference between the business and consumer marketing, to understand the marketing planning and what is the linkage with the strategic planning. You must have heard the word strategic management in the subject strategic management, strategic planning. To understand the driving growth parameters in B2B, also to understand the industrial marketing strategies in India. We will learn to develop a target market strategy to understand the positioning of a product and to understand the importance of market segmentation and the basis in which it is used. So this is the lengthy chapter. So we are having plenty of things to learn. So we will start with introduction. Business marketing is the practice of organizations, including the commercial businesses, government and institutions, facilitating the facilitating the sale of their products and services to other companies or organizations that in turn resell them. So use them as component in product and services they offer or use them to support their operations. Also known as industrial marketing, business marketing is also called as business to business marketing or B2B marketing in short. Origins of business marketing. In a broader sense, the practice of one pure of the goods doing the trade with one another old as the commerce itself, as a niche in the field of marketing as we know it today. However, its history is more recent. In one of the chapter, that is Fundamentals of Business Marketing, that book is by J. David. He was the professor of marketing in the Zikling School of Business. He noted that the industrial marketing has been around since the mid 19th century, although the bulk of the research on the discipline of the marketing has become about last approximately 50 years. One more researcher that their name were Morris P. Tan Honeycutt. In 2001, they pointed out that for many years the business marketing took a backseat of consumer marketing, which entailed provision of goods and services selling directly to households through mass media or retail channels. This began to change in the mid of 1970s or late of 1970s, where a variety of academic periodicals, their name were the Journal of B2B Marketing or the Journal of Business and Industrial Marketing, they started publishing various subjects and the theories regularly, and the professionals in the conferences, they were contributing to the uh, upbringing of the concept, that is business to business marketing, that conferences were held in every year. So all these research papers where the scientists were doing or researchers were doing on the actual business to business marketing, they were studying the areas and they are finding some facts from B2B marketing. What's more, the business marketing courses can commonplace in many universities today. In fact, the Dower and Tanner in 2006 pointed out that only marketing majors began their career in business marketing today than consumer marketing. So, business marketing where consumer marketing. Although on the surface of the differences between the businesses and consumer marketing may seem obvious, there are more subtle distinctions between the two with substantial differences or ramifications. Dower and Tanner in 2006 noted that the business marketing generally entails shorter and more direct channel of distribution than consumer marketing. While consumer marketing is aiming at the large demographic group through the process of advertisement through mass media, and they are taking helps as a distribution channels to various retailers and wholesalers. The negotiation process between the buyer and seller is more personal in the business marketing. According to a few of the scientists, their name was Hutt and Shep. In 2001, they noted that most of the business marketers commit only a small part of their promotional budgets on advertisement, and that is usually through direct mail efforts and trade journals. While that advertising is limited in nature, it often helps the business marketers to set up the successful sale calls. So, who is the business marketing customers? So, while other businesses might seem like the simple answer, uh, is business consumers fall into the broad four categories: companies that consume products or services, then government agencies, institutions, and resellers. The first category includes original equipment manufacturers such as an automakers who buy gauges uh, to put into their cars, brakes into put their cars, and the users, which are the companies that produce the products for their own consumptions. The second category, like government agencies, is the biggest category. In fact, the Indian government, also US government, is one of the biggest single purchasers of the products and services in the country. In US, they are spending more than $300 billion annually. But this category also includes state and local governments that you can differentiate. The third category is institutions, includes schools, hospitals, nursing homes, churches, temples, charities, trusts, NGOs, etc. Finally, the resellers that consist of various wholesalers, carry and forward agents, brokers, and industrial distributors, and so on. So these are the consumers of business marketing. Next is marketing planning. And what is the linkage with the strategic planning? Strategic planning is mostly concerned with the top management in any business. So businesses that succeed to do by creating and keeping customers, they do this by providing better value to the customers than the competition. Marketing management constantly have to access which consumers or customers they are trying to reach and how they can design the products and services that have better value. That is for gaining the competitive advantage. The main problem with this process is environment, maybe macro environment or micro environment in which the businesses operates, and this environment is dynamic in nature. Dynamic means it is constantly changing. There are a number of opportunities. The test of the consumers, the products and services are constantly changing. Also, the competitors are also coming with repeatedly new type of innovations and new products and services in their existence. So a business must adapt to reflect the changes in the environment and make the decision about how to change the marketing mix in order to get success or to get competitive advantage again. This process of adopting and decision making is known as doing the marketing planning. Now, where does the marketing planning fit with the overall strategic planning of a business? So strategic planning is concerned about the overall direction of the business. Then strategic planning is a part of a strategic marketing management. It addresses the need to respond the external environment, competitive environment, and internal environment of any organization. It is concerned with marketing, of course, but it also involves decision making about the production, operations, finance, human resource management, and other business issues that affects the marketing responses to combat the external and the competitive environment. The objective of a strategic marketing plan is to set the direction of a business and to create its shape so that the products and services it provides meet the overall business objectives. Marketing has a role to play in strategic planning. because it is the job of marketing management to understand and manage the links between the business and their environment. Sometimes it is quite a straightforward task. You can take example like in many of the small businesses there is only one geographical market and limited number of products. Perhaps sometimes there is only one product. However, consider the challenges faced by marketing management in multinational business, with hundreds of the business units located around the globe, producing a wide range of products to offer for the consumers. How can such management keep control of the marketing decision making in a complex situation? This calls for well organized marketing planning. Now, what are the various issues that should be addressed in marketing planning? So, the following questions lie in the heart of any marketing planning process, or indeed, it is a strategic marketing process. So, you have to ask questions like where are we now, or how did we get there, where we are heading now, where would we like to be in future, how do we get there, like what are our targets and how we are going to get there, and are we on the course, or are we on the right track or not. So such type of questions you have to ask that lies in any marketing planning process. Now, why is marketing planning is essential? The business operates in a hostile and increasingly complex environment. The ability of business to achieve the profitable sales is impacted by dozens of environmental factors, many of which are interconnected. It makes sense to try to bring some order to this chaos by understanding the commercial environment and bringing some strategic sense to the process of marketing various products and services. A marketing plan is useful to many people in a business. It can help to identify the competitive advantage. So this is the advantages of having a marketing plan. So you can identify the resources, then you can get commitment to get a proper strategy or develop strategy. Then you can inform the stakeholders in the business. You can get resources needed to invest and build the business. Also, you can set the objectives, priorities, and various strategies. And also, after some time or some months, you can measure the performances, whether we have actually landed where we really wanted to go. So that much you can do. So that's why the marketing planning is essential. Now, how big is this business marketing? Now there are three quotes by first is by Hutt and Spear. In 2001, he noted that the business marketers serve the largest market of all. So it is the crux of that I am saying. So the dollar volume in transaction in the industrial or the business market significantly exceeds that of the ultimate customer market. Here the example we can note that the companies like GE or DuPont and IBM spend more than $60 million a day on the purchase to support their operations. Now, according to second thinker, that is Doyer and Tanner in 2006, they said that the purchases made by the companies, various government agencies and institutions account for more than half of the economic activity in the industrialized countries such as Canada, France, and United States. And 2003 study sponsored by the Business Marketing Association, they estimated that the B2B marketers in United States spend approximately $85 billion a year to promote their goods and services. This Business Marketing Association study breaks the following figures in dollars, that for trades and events they are spending 17.3 dollar. Then for magazines and advertisement they are paying $10.8 million. For direct email they are spending $9.4. For telemarketing they are paying $2.4, and For marketing research, they are paying $3.8 million. So, uh, in this particular fact or figures, it's such a thing that Business Marketing Association speaks about the size and creditability of the industry. Business Marketing Association traces its origin in 1922 with the formation of the National Industrial Advertising Association. Today, Business Marketing Association, that is having their headquarters in Chicago, boasts more than 2,000 members, and they are having 19 chapters across the entire country. Among its members are a new breed of marketing communication agencies that largely or exclusively business-to-business marketing oriented. They include Bader and Rutter and Associations, then Eric Mauer, uh, and so many names are there, like Chicago-based Slack Barishrenga. So, what's driving the growth in B2B marketing? So, their quote is written here. According to Morris, Pitt, and Honeycutt, they have quoted this in 2001. The tremendous growth and change that business marketing is experiencing is due to the large part of these three revolutions occurring around the world today. So, the first revolution is technological revolution. So, technology is changing, or we can say there is a blast of technology. So technology is changing at the unexpected pace or speed, and these changes are speeding up, and the pace of new products and services development is really rapid. A large part of that has to do with the internet, uh, which we will discuss now. So second revolution is entrepreneurial revolution. So many entrepreneurs or new generation entrepreneurs are coming forward. So to stay competitive, many companies have downsized and reinvented themselves. Adaptability, flexibility, speed, aggressiveness, and innovativeness are the keys of the to remain competitive in the today's world. Marketing is taking the entrepreneurial lead by finding the market segments, untapped needs, and new uses for existing products, and by creating new process for sales, distribution, and customer service. The third revolution you can say is one occurring within the marketing itself. Like companies are looking beyond the traditional assumptions and adopting the new frameworks, theories, models, and concepts. They are moving away from the mass marketing and their preoccupations with the transactions. And now relationships, then partnerships. You must know about supply chain partners, or you are treating each and every entity in the supply chain as your partner. Various alliances are what we define marketing today. The cookie cutter approach is out, and the companies are customizing the marketing program to the individual count. So now we will talk about something like industrial marketing strategy in India. So marketing planning involves the selection of marketing strategy and the tactics of implementing it to reach a defined set of goals. Marketing planning differs from strategic marketing planning in three ways, like time horizon, then responsibility, and the details. The components of marketing planning are executive summary, then current marketing situations, various threats and opportunities, objectives and issues, marketing strategies, action plans, and control measures. The strategic planning process consists of developing the company's mission, objectives, and goals, then finding various business portfolios and the functional plans. Then controlling part that requires that is having various relevant aspects of performance to be measured and compared with corresponding aspects of the plan. The purpose of the situation assessment is to identify threats and opportunities posed by the changes in the environment, that you can call this as environmental assessment. The issue of strategy, formulation, and planning for any new product or market is dependent on the product life cycle. There are three basic approaches for strategy formulation or new products. The essential task is to identify a proper product market combination where the barriers to entry are at a minimum. The marketing strategy has to take several factors into account. The prime one being the company's position in a particular market. Specifically, whether the market is a leader, or market leader, or a challenger, or follower market, or a niche market. There are four marketing strategies depending on the timing of the technological intensives the firm entry into a particular industry. Now follow the full product life cycle, then develop new products, or follow the leader who is leading the market. So just make products and offer the services according to him. Then application engineering and me too products. So such type of strategies they can adopt. So corporate strategic planning involves four planning activities. Mm, the first is to developing a clear sense of company's mission. A well-developed mission statement provides employees with a shared sense of purpose, direction, and opportunity. So it is very much clear for the all the stakeholders that in which direction we are going to. Then second activity calls for the identifying the company's strategic business units. These are called as SBUs. Its consumer groups, then consumer needs and technologies define a business. SBUs are business units that can benefit from separate planning, face a specific competitors, and be managed as independent profit centers. The third activity calls the functional level strategic management in each strategic business units. So several portfolio models, including those by Boston Consulting Group (BCG). BCG matrix, I think you must have studied in strategic management. And General Electric, they have developed this BCG matrix. So if you are not having any idea of BCG matrix, then you can later on go on YouTube and you can find any small 5 to 6 minutes video on BCG matrix. But this BCG matrix is nothing to do with our marketing concept. It is purely for a strategic management. So several portfolio models, including the BCG model or GE model, are available to help the corporate management to determine the strategic business unit that should be built, maintained, harvested, or divested. The fourth activity here is for the expanding the present businesses and developing new ones to fill the strategic planning gap. The tools described provide powerful support for the formulation of the marketing strategies. In particular, uh, they are useful to evaluate the firm's current product market portfolio and evaluate the competitors' current product market portfolio. That projects that firm's future competitive situation and guide the development of a strategic intelligence system. The need for a lengthy time frame in industrial marketing can arise from a variety of reasons, like long lead times or long life cycles of many existing industrial products, and alternative sources of a resource on a long-term basis. Then the selection of a suitable forecasting techniques may be depend on the identification of new opportunities or threats, also identification of the potential markets, the market estimations and product specifications. Strategic planning in industrial market. This is the next point. While the basic principles of planning apply in both markets, namely industrial markets and consumer markets, Many organizations have found that what work well in the business market or the consumer markets fails to do so in the industrial markets. Two significant differences between these markets appear to account for this phenomenon. The first is unlike the consumer markets where the products are normally marketed through one or two channels, most of the industrial markets face diverse markets that must be reached through a multiplicity of the channel, each requiring a different marketing approach. A producer of communication equipment, for instance, may market to such diverse segments as the commercial, institutional, and government market, each of which will require a unique marketing plan. The second is to contrast to the consumer marketing. That is, a successful industrial marketing strategy depends more on the functional areas, where the element of planning in the consumer marketing can often be contained within the specific areas of marketing, such as advertising, selling, product management. Planning in the industrial market is likely depending on or constrained by the activities of other functional areas, for example, engineering, manufacturing, and technical services. When marketing emphasize tailor-made products and fast deliveries, for instance, manufacturing must be prepared to follow through with product output. Planning them in the industrial marketing arena requires a higher degree of integrated effort across the functional areas and a closer relationship with overall corporate strategy than in the consumer market. So next concept is functional isolation. While planning in the industrial market is as sophisticated as it is in the consumer marketing arena, too often the industrial firms concentrate planning efforts in the marketing department, failing to recognize the interdependency between the marketing and other functional areas. Perhaps this is due to what may be referred as functional isolation. That is, not only does marketing tend to ignore its interface with the other areas such as finance, manufacturing, research and development, but the marketing concepts, methods and inputs are frequently ignored in the decision-making process and decision perspective of the other business functions. And while marketing should be take lead in the defining the market segments, to finding various needs and opportunities and determining what will take to satisfy the various markets and segments, planning in the industrial arena must be a collaborative effort between all the functional areas. But unfortunately, as one of the again scientists, Wind and Robertson, that pointed out that isolation between the marketing and other functional areas may continue until we find the solution to the inherent conflict between the marketing and other functional areas. Developed organizational structures are explicitly incorporate marketing and non-marketing considerations. What are various functional conflicts here? While a successful planning depends on the cooperation between the different functional areas, whenever tasks and objectives are different or unclear between two or more dependent, a strong tendency for disharmony exists. Potential conflict also exists between the marketing and manufacturing in such areas as sales casting and production planning, and between the marketing and research and development in the new product development. So we can say like the firm is limited in what it can design because one has to keep it simple for marketing because neither the consumer nor the marketing department understand the product. and how it is supposed to work. Also, the information that marketing includes is sometimes so extracted that the firm could not get sued for the false advertising. Trying to package so many products and hold costs down is extremely difficult, and finally it could lead to a situation where to sell such type of product is very difficult. The query exists that why can't we have a reasonable quality at reasonable cost? Technical selling through the technical expert to soothe the customers is the call for the day, even through the buying firm really may not have a problem. Engineers always go by the book. They prefer that the warranty clause be robust enough for the product failure to be remote or only incident, and in such cases the contingency plan must be ready. Now, how to make less severe conflict? So alleviating, that means making less severe conflict. So alleviating conflict begins with developing an understanding of the basic causes of interdepartmental conflict. As we have discussed in the fifth chapter, the conflict arises due to the fact that each area is evaluated and rewarded on different dimensions. The inherent complexities of the different functional areas and different perceptions of the individuals involved magnifies the problem. Conflicts owing to differences in how the departmental individuals perceive their prestige, power, and knowledge are quite common. Budget constraints, rapid company growth, and the rapid pace of technological change can also yield to potential areas of conflicts. There can be conflict between the B2B partners, or maybe if you are using some distribution channel, then there can be conflict between these distribution channel as well. Some degree of conflict is necessary and can be very constructive in that it is promotes more efficient and effective use of the company's resources. So if in the existing system if there are some loopholes, then because of the conflicts, and you can overcome those loopholes, and some smooth, effective, and efficient system can be developed. However, when conflict begins to diminish the ability of the organization to coordinate the efforts of its various functional areas, it becomes counterproductive and impairs the organization's effectiveness in achieving its primary goal. Alleviating the conflict, however, is top management's responsibility. So here the middle management or the functional management is not having that much a big role here. So conflict can be only uh, alleviated or minimized when an atmosphere of cooperation is created. So you can create the cooperation atmosphere to maybe promotion of clear and straightforward corporate policies that you can do, or evaluation and reward system you can develop that stress interfunctional cooperation and responsiveness. Also, you can think of some formal and informal interfunctional contacts, that is including the manufacturing people in sales meeting and marketing people in product design decisions, that those meetings, or establishing these crash codes for noon hour to use by all the company members. Such things can are increased between the marketing uh, and the other departments. So there should be communication throughout the things. There is one concept in operations management which is on the same basis, that is called as quality circle. So each member from each department in the organization, they are coming together for a monthly meeting, and they are discussing the issues, or they are solving the conflicts, and if they can improve something in the existing process, so such type of thing can be done. Marketing executives, however, can assist in alleviating the conflicts by building their marketing plans around each functional area's abilities to service and the firm's markets and customers, and by analyzing the strengths, weaknesses, and competitiveness of each respective areas, similar to like we are analyzing the competitors or consumers. Firms often design many products. Now, with numerous options, it is hard to maintain the quality and keep costs down. Firms suffer from drawbacks of not having enough manpower, and further, they hold the hand to some pet consumers of marketing, thereby limiting their knowledge base. Often, marketing department wants the firms to pay the full amount of every claim, even when sometimes the claim being invalid one. So, for business to business, we have seen what is uh, business. Now we will see what is the market. So a market is, so you can say it represents a set of present and potential individuals, or in this case various organizations, potential or present organizations, who have needs for products in a particular class or in a particular product class, and who have the ability and willingness and authority to purchase such products. Conditions needed for an exchange. So, what are various types of markets? So, consumer intend to consume or benefit for an outcome of a satisfaction, but not to make a profit. Or organizational or businesses may be for resale or direct use in production or general daily operations. Developing a target market strategy. A product will not sell by itself. It needs some best strategies to sell. At first, a firm's intend to define a segment or segments wherein it intends to operate. After drawing a strong strategy plan for each such segments or a segment, one needs to develop a target market based on one's limited assets. So first is selecting target markets by analyzing the demand. That is the market segmentation approach. Here, in the market segmentation approach, the entire whole market can be divided. So the market segmentation is the process of dividing a total heterogeneous market into small groups or a market groups consisting of occupants who who have relatively similar product needs. There are clusters of needs. The major basis of the segments of industrial markets can be characterized like the characteristics of the buying organization, like the what is the size or scale operations of the organization. So large scale organizations, small scale SMEs, and all. So what are their geographic locations, what is their usage rate, and what are their structure of procurement. So on that basis, on the characteristics of buying organization, you can do the market segmentation. Or maybe product application, or the characteristics of purchasing situations, like type of buying situations or stages of purchase decision process. So selected micro basis of the segmentations are used to further segment the entire market. Some of the important variables are uh, displayed on the screen, like decision specific conflict or purchasing strategies, structure of decision making, importance of purchase, attitude towards the vendors, then organizational innovations, and maybe some other criteria like quantity, delivery, reputations, and so on. The major and minor basis makes the segmentation effective. One finds the segmentation variables are different in industrial markets than that of consumer markets. The criteria of the segments being considered that uh, it should be measurable, then it should be accessible, it should be substantial for doing the businesses, and it should be communicable. The firms has limited capacity, and considering the segment to be large, it has to operate based on its own resources base or the asset basis. Thus, through the segment could be many, it need to follow some strategy to meet its own goal. Then next is target market. So developing a target market strategy is having three phases. First is analyzing the consumer needs or demands, then targeting the markets. That market can be undifferentiated, or it can be concentrated, or it may have multiple segments, so it is multi-segmented. And then developing the appropriate marketing strategy according to the target market. Then concentration strategy. So a firm that does the targeting of only one segment with a unique marketing mix is referred as concentrated marketing strategy. They are concentrating on only one type of things. It is a company, it is the company is very small or new to this particular field, or maybe decided that to concentrate the strategy, and if they are having another diversification, then they may be closing the diversifications. So they are having some process, that is advantages. This process or advantages includes concentration strategy advantages, that includes it allows a firm to specialize in a particular product or in a particular market group, or it can focus on energies on the satisfying one group's needs. Like Coca-Cola company, they are having some beverages, all soft drink type of things, they are having a range of things. So if you want soft drink, then you can go for there. Then if you want like mango included in that, and normal simple water is also there, soda water is also there. So they are concentrating on only beverages. A firm with limited resources can operate or compete with the larger organization. So these are the advantages. Also, they are having disadvantages of the concentration strategy. It puts all eggs in a one basket. So if that is fail, then entire thing is a failure. Then small shifts in occupants requirement can greatly affect the firm. Then it may have trouble expanding into the new markets, especially in the up markets. So in this strategy, the objective is not to maximize the sale, it is the efficiency attracting a large portion of one section while controlling the cost. Multi-segment strategy. It is also called as a differentiated marketing strategy. Here, the targeting is inclusive of many segments using the individual marketing mixes is called as differentiated marketing strategy. Here, two or more segments are sought with a marketing mix of each segment, different marketing plan for each segment. This approach combines the best attributes of differentiating marketing and concentrating marketing. On long term, for full coverage market, this strategy is worth strategy. Full coverage market means whatever they are demanding from the markets for all segments, you are delivering the products. Next is undifferentiated approach, that is total market approach. This approach does not differentiate the market according to any variable. In this case, a single marketing mix for the entire market is identified, is laid down. All consumers have similar needs for a specific kind of product. Suppose a case of market of lathe. Lathe is a machine. One may find that cut across the industries like manufacturing, it is used here using segmentation variable may prove to be fatal. Target market may be following a concentrated segment, multiple segment, or a undifferentiated segment, but it must be portion of it. This portion is chosen based on some criteria like from firm's strategic inclusion or to a segment, then the preferences to the product awareness more rather than the unawareness, then a favorable demand situation where the rate of entry is less, then incremental margin of revenue is high to cost, then there exists the possibility of faster penetration and higher growth. Market positioning. Positioning is something like if you are talking about a particular brand, then what strikes in the consumer's mind or the people's mind, that is their position of that particular brand or product in people's mind. So industrial positioning is different from that consumer positioning. Positioning is a perception exercised by the firm to an image its offering differentiated from that of the competition. In the consumer marketing, it is of two types, the real or surrogate. In industrial market, the surrogate positioning strategy is not possible, so it has to be real. Thus, the positioning in the industrial market is based on real approach. The real positioning approach is something that can be proven and pufferly is not permitted. Some of the important real positioning strategies like you can use the product category or usage of the specific technology or usage of the quality through the product category technology or usage occasion, then usage of price through the quality product category or technology maintenance or usage occasion, or usage of a delivery. So in all product price delivery, that is place and promotion. So you can usage or delivery through the product category, technology, or usage occasion. So these are the major positioning strategies of the course. There could be permutations and combinations available as well as among them. So what is marketing information? The element of marketing information are like first is marketing involves four distinct phases. These phases are selection, then assembly, then production and distribution. These phases like selection, assembly, production and distribution are corresponds to the four primary questions of the economic geography. These four questions are displayed on the screen. What will be produced, how it will be produced, where it will be produced, and from whom it will be produced. So, changing the form of the raw materials increases its use or increases its value. So, the mango juice and the real mango. So, you are changing the phase of the real mango, but the usability is increases. Like you can use that juice throughout the year, and that will not happen with the raw mango. So with the changing the form of the raw material increases use and value. For example, again the flour milled from the wheat is more valuable than the raw grain. Again, the increased in labor power is termed as value added manufacturing. Then that I have covered. No, this I have to cover. Okay. So raw materials are classified into two categories: ambiguous and what's that? Ubiquitous. Okay, that is local. So what is this ubiquitous materials that are universally distributed, and local material that is easily available, and local materials are found only in specific locations. Only localized raw materials attract the production, and products comprised of these ubiquitous materials will usually be produce near the market locations and reduce the transportation cost. Like we are having the garment industry where the cotton production is more, such type of things. Like in Solapur, we are having those special type of cotton type of sheets and sleeping materials, etc., are available there. So the classical industry locations theory is founded on the work of Alfred Weber. So Weber's system is called as the least cost approach. So in the least cost approach, because it is called as least cost approach because he assumed that such locations are optional. Then Weber considered that the cost of the assembling raw material, the cost of distributing the finished product, and the total transportation cost. So in normal cases, he assumed that the existence of a single market point. The best location for a manufacturing plant is the point at which the total transportation cost is minimized. The weight and weight losing properties of raw materials are critical factors influencing the industrial locations. The Marignon frame is a mechanical device of weights, strings, and pulleys formerly used to identify the best location for a particular plant. Today, high-speed computers assess the numerous variables to find the best locations. So, location decisions are influenced by prior development patterns. This is called as industrial inertia. The plants may be located at the non-optimal sites in order to utilize the existing infrastructure. Three primary factors that influences the methods and cost of production after the materials have been assembled at a particular point. These are land, labor, and capital. Spatial availability in the cost of land and the availability of a skilled or unskilled labor impact the location of the production process. There are two forms of capital, fixed capital or variable capital. Variable capital is also called as liquid capital. Fixed capital includes the equipments and plants and buildings, and liquid capital is used to pay wages and other type of operating costs. Liquid capital is more mobile than the fixed capital. Fixed capital is a primary reason for the industrial inertia. Technological change has greatly impacted the production process. The time required to transport the materials and transmit information has decreased. Then, in the last 50 years, you can see the changes. The flexible manufacturing processes, that is called as FMP, such as various type of approaches like Japanese just-in-time manufacturing and adoption of the new technological changes. The companies that can adjust to the speed and flexibility of the economic relations are said to be superior in the competitive positions. The scale of production indicates the volume of a firm's total output. The optimal scale may determine whether a business expand existing facilities or building branch plants. Finding the optimal scale of production is an attempt to eliminate or reduce diseconomies of scales, like diminishing the returns. The division of labor is a critical component of mass production. Division of labor not only speeds up the production but also facilitates the use of relatively unskilled labor. The emergence of agglomeration economies, that is, such production linkages, service linkages, marketing linkages, may also be treated to the development of scale economies. Now, there are two types of integrations: vertical integration and horizontal integration. The vertical integration that includes the purchase of raw materials or distributions facilities, or maybe apart from production, you are purchasing and distributing, and you are doing both, either or. Integration in the upward chain of the activities or downward chain of the activities, or including both of the activities, that is the part of supply chain management. That orientation is referred as vertical integration. The horizontal integration is the merger or acquisition of the similar firms or competitive firms may be the example of the process. So this is about vertical and horizontal integration. The growth takes place through the integration and diversification. Backward integration occurs when a firm takes over the operations or activities of the upward chain. Forward integration occurs when a firm begins to incorporate the functions of downward chain, including the control of outlets or its products. Companies organizes themselves hierarchically in a variety of ways to administrate or coordinate their activities. The basic format are the functional orientation, then product orientation, geographical orientation, and customer orientation. The combination of at least two of these formats is called as matrix structure. If you have heard about the BPR, that is business process reengineering, so this BPR refers to a major innovation in the manner in which the organizations conduct their business. These innovations include downsizing, real-time information systems, and a strategic information system. Downsizing, reducing the number of employees. Then RTIs, that is real-time information system, reduces bureaucracy by using the self-managed teams. Strategic information systems use technology to improve the firm's competitive ability. Industries tend to pass through several stages. These stages include the initial period of experimentation, a period of rapid growth of the industry, a period of diminishing growth, and a period of stability or decline. This scientist, Kondratiev, he hypothesized or he made a statement that industrial countries experience the successive waves of growth and decline. These are called as the quantitative cycles. Each cycle lasts approximately for 50 to 60 years. Now we will see the impact of internet in reference to marketing information. The internet become an integral component of the customer relationship management strategy for business marketers. Dower and Tanner, we have seen these people, 2006. They noted that the business marketers not only use the internet to improve the customer service, but also to improve the opportunities with the distributors. According to Anderson and Neras in 2004, one second, Agasti, Agasti, phone घे. So, according to Anderson and Nares in 2004, two new types of resellers have emerged as byproducts of the internet, like intermediaries and the meta-diaries. The intermediaries are such as the Google or Yahoo's. These are search engines, the companies that also function as brokers or middlemen in the business marketing world. They charge the companies fees to find the information on the web, as well as for the banner and top-up ads and search engine optimization services. Intermediaries such as WW are the companies with robust internet sites that furnish the customers with multi-product, multi-vendor, and multi-service market spaces in return for the commissions on sales. With the advent of the B2B exchanges, the internet uses is an enthusiasm for the collaboration that never existed before, and in fact might have been seen that in last 10 years. For example, a decade ago, who would have imagined that Ford and General Motors entering to the joint ventures? Then what's exactly what happened after all the big three began to moving their purchase online in 1990s? All these three companies like Ford, General Motors, and Daimler Chrysler, all these three companies were pushing their own initiatives when they realized that economy of scale that could achieve by pooling their efforts. Thus, the Born that have been the world's largest internet business when Ford's Auto Exchange and GM's Trade Exchange merged with the Daimler Chrysler's representing as the third partner. While this exchange did not stand the test of time, others have included LLC or Agentrix, etc., which was formed last year, uh, a few years back, with the merger of Worldwide Retail Exchange and the Global Net Exchange or GNX. The Agentrix serves more than 50 retailers around the world and more than 300 customers, and its members have combined sales of approximately $1 trillion. So the researchers Hutt and Spey in 2001 again noted that such a virtual markets places enable the companies and their suppliers to conduct the business in real time, as well as simplified the purchase processes and the cut cost. The three element link the organization to the customers. That elements are information technology, micro marketing, and relationship marketing. So we will talk about them now. First is information technology. So IT, that is information technology, design computer and the communication system to satisfy the organization's information need. Now the marketing research is the information gathering of the IT. IT is the framework for day-to-day management activities and structuring of information gathered regularly from the sources outside and inside the organization. So the data is input as a input, then data is processed, and they are having some information outputs. So again, some feedbacks are given, and this process is a loop that goes on continuing. So data through processing, you get information. So data is in a raw form, and information is in a pure form. So after processing, only you will get such type of information. That processing can be arithmetic calculations like adding, subtracting, multiplication, or maybe sorting, eliminating, deleting, adding. Such type of things is usually done in processing. Difference between data and information. So the external stimuli on an object which is capable of being responded to is referred as a data. It could be verbal data, it could be written data, it could be visual data. Processing the data to a desired level of inference is called as information. Data need to be captured in industrial market to be processed to the level of inference is information. So effective IT provides a continuous flow of information regarding the prices, then advertising expenses, then sales expenses or selling figures, then competition expenses, distribution expenses, and so on. So what are various inputs? So inputs can be accounting records, then some information like what calls has been there on your call center numbers, then transaction information, then public information. If you have conducted some surveys, then survey information and frequent user programs and so on. So processing the qualifying information and developing various categories for the meaningful storage and retrieval of data. Marketers can then determine which information is output and that is useful for decision making. The feedback enables the adjustment in the input. So whether you are on the right track or not, that you can set through feedback. So what are various recent developments in IT? So enabled marketers to effectively utilize the information that they have been sorting for the years, but have not been able to use. It was therefore data and not information. Processing element of IT has allowed the marketers to merge essentially their transactional databases with their computer profile database. Customer relations or locate or identify the problems more quickly and identify problems in 10 calls and not in 10,000 calls. Then we are having the customer services like helplines are there starting with 1800 and all that. Then customer service major IT expenses, then lower inventory cost, then renegotiate with the suppliers and so on. And database marketing, that is also called as micro marketing. Uh, and organization efforts to collect the demographic, then media, then consumption profiles of the customers and so on. In order to target the customers more efficiently, marketers can use multi-variable segmentation, incorporation, that is buyer behavior information and demographic information. Demographic information includes various type of organization, then their scale, then which type of products they are into, what are their sectors, and so on. What people have done in the past or purchaser is the better predictor to the future behavior than any other characteristics or variable. The frequent user program is to collect the data on the heavy user consumers. Now we will talk about relationship marketing, one-to-one marketing, and it is generally for long term. So old model, that is sell one product to as many consumers as possible, that is target market, and the new model is sell as many as products maybe to a one person, one-to-one focus on the lifetime value of the customer. That lifetime value is termed as LVC, lifetime value of the customer, instead of the individual transactions. While lifetime value is the method, the preceding conditions is the relationship should be worth developing, which means that there should be an economic criteria for the customer to be included for such relationship marketing. Firms first provide for the financial relationship, then the social relationship, and finally the structural relationship. So financial, then social, then structural relationship. Customers previously in banking had one-to-one relationship with firm. This was the inception point where in services this relationship marketing bloomed. Of course, this marketing diffused to other industry as well as later on owing to its merits. New companies have the technology to have one-to-one, that is few relationship with their customers. Evaluating the markets and sales forecast a part of marketing information. So here there are various terms that are displayed in the screen, displayed on the screen. So need to measure the sales potential of the chosen markets. So what is market potential? It is the industry wide need to specify the time frame and level of the industry marketing activities. What is sales potential? Maximum percentage of the market potential that a single firm within an industry expects to obtain as the absolute limit. What is breakdown approach? The economic market potential, that is sales potential, is the breakdown approach. What is built up approach? Built up approach is number of potential buyers, purchasers, number of buyers in areas, same of each area, then add the areas to calculate the total market potential that estimates the proportion of for the particular company. Then what is sales penetration? That is the actual sales divided by the sales potential. So to have the sales penetration more, you should have the actual sales that is exactly equal to sales potential. Then your sales penetration will be equal to 1. Last few slides. Developing the sales forecast. So sales forecast is the amount of a product that a company actually expects to sell during a specific period at a specified level of marketing. Actually, instead of potential, can be short term, medium term, or long term. So, what are various methods? So, these are various methods. So, choice depends on the cost, types of products, characteristics of market, time span of the forecast, purpose of the forecast, then stability of the historical data, availability of the required information, and forecasters' expertise and experience. Then we can have these many methods. The first is executive judgment. So this is based on the experimental learning and on the past experiences. Then surveys method, surveying the customer that is advisable when only a few customers in the business market exist in the market. However, it is expensive and one relies on the customer estimates that could be looked as the shortcoming. Then time series analysis. Again, this is the part of operations management. This time series analysis gives the growth rate to the cells of the assumptions, cells on the assumptions, and that the market is constant is suitable in case of core industry where licensing is required and government intervention and entry barriers are typically high. Correlations method. This correlation method where the gut feel is that there exists some association with a variable. Regression analysis indicates causal relationship between the dependent and independent variable. So marketers will generally use more than one method at a time to developing a sales forecast depending on the type of the organization. Then last part, that is MIS. Here it is not management information system, it is marketing information system. So marketing information system is intended to bring together the diverse items of data into a coherent body of information. As MIS is, as seen shortly to be seen, more than the raw data, it incorporates the process that transforms data into information suitable for the purpose of decision making. And MIS also provides method for interpretation of information the MIS provides. Moreover, as per the Kotler's definition, Philip Kotler's definition, he says that marketing information system is more than a system of data collection or a set of information technology. It is more than the information technology since the decision making is the destination of the system. Now, MIS today refers to the capturing of data, then automation of data, then coordination and integration type of things. So, marketing information system is a continuing and interacting structure of people, then equipments and procedures, and that is there to gather, sort, analyze, and evaluate. Also, distribute the pertinent and timely and accurate information. This information is for usage in the decision making, specifically in decision making regarding market.